Hello, students, and welcome. Today, we're going to explore a very interesting topic in biology, one that helps explain the world right around us, and even ourselves. So let's start with a simple question. Have you ever looked in the mirror or at a family photo and noticed how you have your mother's eyes, or perhaps your father's nose? This resemblance you see, it's not just a coincidence. But at the same time, you're not an identical copy of them, are you? You are your own unique person. And this is the mystery we're going to solve today, the puzzle of similarity and difference within our families. To understand this, we need to learn about two fundamental concepts in biology. The first one is called heredity, and the second is variation. Let's dive into this and see what they mean. So on one side, we have heredity, which is responsible for making us similar to our parents. And on the other side, we have variation, which is what causes all the differences we see. They are like two sides of the same coin. First, let's define heredity. You can think of it as the process of passing on traits from parents to their children. It's the reason why a human child has all the basic features of a human being, like a head, 2 arms, 2 legs. It provides the basic body design. Now let's look at variation. These are these small differences that you see among all your friends and family, even though you all belong to the same species. Your height, your skin tone, the texture of your hair, these are all examples of variation, and they are what make each one of us unique. So, this brings up a very important question. Where do these variations come from? And how do they get passed down from one generation to the next? Let's investigate the mechanism. You see, variation builds up over time, generation after generation. It's like a story that's being retold. In the first generation, an organism reproduces. Its children in the next generation are very similar, but they have a few small changes, or variations. Now, when they have children, they pass on the original design and their new variations, and then some more new ones get created. Over time, these small changes add up. Now, what's really interesting is how the type of reproduction, the way an organism creates offspring, has a huge effect on the amount of variation that is created. Let's first talk about asexual reproduction. This is where there's only one parent, like a bacterium splitting into two. In this case, the offspring are almost exact copies of the parent. The only variations that appear are because of very small accidental errors that happen when the parent's DNA is being copied. But in sexual reproduction, well, that's a completely different story. Here, you have two parents contributing their genetic material. This mixing and combining of DNA from two different individuals is what creates so many new and unique variations in the offspring. And you can see this in the world all around you. Think of a field of sugarcane. It is usually grown asexually, so all the plants look almost identical. Now compare that to animals or to the people in your own classroom. You see so many distinct variations, right? That's the power of sexual reproduction. Here is a very simple example of an inherited trait. Look at the earlobes of your classmates, or even your own in a mirror. You'll find that some people have free earlobes that hang down, while others have attached earlobes that connect directly to the side of the head. These are two different variations of the same trait. So we know these differences exist, but what's the purpose? Why is variation so important for life? Does it actually matter in the bigger picture? This slide asks a very important question. Do all these variations in a species have the same chance of surviving? The answer is simple. Obviously, not. And this is exactly what makes variation the key to survival and adaptation in a world that is always changing. Let's take an example. Imagine a population of bacteria, and suddenly, there's a heat wave. Most of them might die. But what if a few of them, just by chance, have a variation that allows them to tolerate that heat? Well, they will be the ones to survive. And when they reproduce, they will pass on that heat-resistant trait. This is how variation helps a species to adapt and avoid becoming extinct. This is the very basis of evolution. Okay, so we've covered some very important ideas today. Let's just take a moment to quickly summarize the main points we have discussed. So remember these key points. First, reproduction creates new individuals that are similar to their parents, but they also have variations. Second, these variations can be passed on or inherited by the next generation. Third, these variations can sometimes give an individual a better chance of survival. And finally, sexual reproduction creates much more variation than asexual reproduction. Now, all of this leads us to our next big question. We know that these traits are inherited, but how? Is the whole process completely random, or are there some predictable rules that it follows? Well, a scientist named Gregor Mendel was the first person to figure out the basic rules of inheritance. In our next session, we are going to explore his brilliant work and learn about the laws that he discovered. Thank you.